What's up, y'all? It's JR, and I am excited, and I'm also fired up to talk about this topic today. And you're probably sitting there, just like my wife, who's going, honey, well, you're probably not calling me honey, but honey, you're a high performance coach, why are you talking about pitch count? What does it have to do with high performance? And my response was everything. But I'll get to that in a second. I was watching a Little League World Series game recently and saw a kid throwing 90 pitches, 12-year-old kid throwing 90 pitches in a game, in a high-stakes game at that. Then I jumped into one of my Facebook groups filled with a bunch of moms and dads and parents that have kids playing baseball. And one mom actually commented about this and was all fired up, like, what is a kid doing throwing 90 pitches in a game? Well, what ensued was this 200 plus comment fiery debate about the topic. And I was reading through the comments, interacting with some people, and I was going, oh my gosh, how misinformed and misguided people are on this topic. And I'll tell you, it has everything to do with high performance because I deal with the aftermath of what goes on when high-level athletes are pushed in ways they shouldn't be pushed, hearing things they shouldn't be hearing, which includes information that you are probably hearing too, your athletes are probably hearing too. All this stuff, it all plays into high performance because here's the deal. High performance is just not on the field. It's off the field too. It's all interconnected. So I'm talking about this topic today because I know you're a parent that's getting flooded with information. You're hearing stuff from parents, from coaches, from so-called experts. There's so much information on the internet, you don't even know what to believe anymore. But I also know you're a parent that wants the best, wants to give their athlete the best possible chance of living his or her dream. I know that's you. This is why I'm doing this today. I want you to get the information that you deserve, that your athlete deserves. So here's what I'm doing today. Number one, I want to share some stats with you that will alarm you. They alarmed me, they're going to alarm you. Trust me, you need to know what these core stats are all about. Two, I want to share with you what the experts are saying. And not just any old experts, some of the best in the world. And I want you to hear what they're saying today. Not 5 years ago, not 10 years ago, today. I want you equipped and armed with that information. And then I want to share with you some common objections I hear out there around this whole armchair pitch count topic. And I'm going to share with you exactly how I answer them and how I coach through them and how I strategize with families on these common objectives. So this is going to be fun for me today because, I'm a baseball guy. I love pitching. I love hitting. I love baseball. So that's why I'm excited and I'm fired up because you deserve the information you're going to get today. So, by the way, before I go on, I want to remind you, if you don't know about this, I started it's completely free, online meetup for baseball parents. I've been taking one-on-one calls about stuff like this, but also, advisors and agents and college recruiting and how to communicate better with my kid. All these topics one-on-one, I just can't do them anymore. So I've created this online meetup to where I get to, work with a group of parents like you at one sitting, kind of in this, Facebook Live type environment to get you the answers that you deserve. And what I'm also doing is I'm bringing in my network of experts in on some of these meetups. So again, you don't just hear from me, you hear from other experts. So check it out. It's go.baseballparentmeetup.com. Get on the list. I'll get you the invite. Come if you want. Don't come if you want. But I'm telling you, if you show up, you're going to get the answers that you deserve. So real quick, I want to give you my perspective. Everything I'm going to give to you today is I'm backing it up with the sources and the perspective that I've been given over the years. Number one, I interned and rehabbed under legendary arm care he's a legend, okay, in terms of working with pitchers, working with even football quarterbacks, Dr. Tom House. And later, it was fun for me, his National Pitching Association actually became one of my clients on the business side. So I've gotten immersed in all of his research, decades and decades and decades of research. I've gotten immersed in it for years and years and years. So that's a big part of my perspective, coming from what I've learned from Dr. Tom. Also, because I've worked with high-level athletes, I've had to refer clients for surgeons. And one of my go-tos is Dr. Tim Kremchek, who is currently the Cincinnati Reds doctor, but also one of the most recognized and world-renowned surgeons on arms. So he's got some brilliant research out there, information out there that you got to check out. But that's another one of my sources. And then finally, Dr. Tom House, I mentioned him, his protege, Mark Sheehan. Mark, worked under Tom for years. Now Mark's doing his own thing with Evolution Athletics. But, he has groomed some of the most healthy arms out there. And every single one of my clients who's a pitcher is going to Mark at some point. So those are my sources. I mean, between the three of them, we're talking 100 plus years of research, of practical application, and of study on this particular topic. And then obviously there's my perspective. The high performance coach who's seen kids getting pushed and pushed and pushed to levels they should not be pushed to. And what's happening, I'm seeing the mental effects of it. I'm seeing the physical effects of it. I'm seeing depression. I'm seeing burnout. Of course, I'm seeing injuries. And in some cases, I'm even seeing suicide. So that's the perspective I'm coming from and coming at you today. But I promised you I'm going to share with you some stats. First of all, in 2017, it was reporting that an astounding 86.7% of regular season Major League Baseball games featured a pitcher, at least one pitcher, who had previously undergone Tommy John surgery. Almost 87%. And then here's another stat for you. Kids aged 15 to 19 accounted for 57% of Tommy John surgeries performed in the U.S. between 2007 and 2011. All right? Here's one that almost floored me. Well, it did floor me. That's kind of why I'm fired up about this today. Surgeries at all levels of baseball, all levels, not just Major League Baseball, all levels, eclipsed 100 each year from 2012 to 2017. Now, I don't know, I haven't seen any research come out or articles come out on, with 2018, 2019, but I mean, this is just 2 years ago, and I would guarantee this number is increasing. But they eclipse 100 surgeries in a single season from 2012 to 2017. It had never been like that in the previous 38 years. Alarming. And then Coach Mark Sheehan, who I mentioned, one of the experts I rely on, listen to this stat. He told me, he goes, JR, 10 years ago, 5% of my new clients were either rehab cases or injured. Today, that number is 40%. Y'all, 40%. Now here's the deal. There's a ton of guidelines out there. There's a ton of rules out there. Little League has their pitch count rules. USSSA, I mean, you name it, there's rules out there. But here's my point, y'all, that I really want you to grasp. I'm going to share what the experts are saying in terms of guidelines and suggestions and stuff like that here in a second. But here's the deal. Normal isn't working right now. So I argue we have to take drastic steps. And you know what? Yeah, we may say, oh, hey, the rule book says he could throw 85 pitches in this game. But you know what? The trend that's going on, all the experts being quoted as saying arm injuries are at an epidemic level right now. My vote, my argument is we got to do something different, regardless of the guidelines and suggestions out there. So I promised you, besides stats, I was going to give you what the experts are saying today. All right? And I'm going to start with Coach Sheehan because, again, he's on top of it. And he is rehabbing a ton of guys, but also grooming pitchers who are extremely healthy, extremely good mechanically, and just have it together and have a great understanding of this game. His premise is, look, stop focusing on just one variable, pitch count. There's actually 3 variables that need to be considered when going, all right, should we keep him in? Should we let him go towards the max? Or should we pull him out? So number 1 is obviously pitches thrown. All right, we gotta see how many pitches that pitcher's throwing. But number 2 is mechanical efficiency. It's just, hey, look, how's the kid's mechanics? And, there's some 12-year-olds out there with good mechanics, 13-year-olds, but my argument is I watch 18 to 20-year-olds that are pursuing the big leagues that don't have good mechanics. So there's not many 12-year-olds with great mechanics out there. So we have to pay attention to, okay, how's this athlete's mechanics in addition to how many actual pitches he throws or she throws. Then the third component of this is balanced functional strength. Now look, I'm not going to get all sciencey and all that craziness with this particular one. But one example of balanced functional strength, you've probably heard it if you've been around a pitching coach, is don't stop at the top. So, you get some pitchers who literally, it's like this, they get up and they pause, like there's like this level of pause, something's off. It screws up timing, and when timing's screwed up, it lags the arm. I can keep going down a trail. The bottom line is, we got to take all of that into consideration. What I noticed in the Facebook group and what I noticed with a lot of people, we're just focusing on a rule. We're not focusing on all that. And I want to encourage you, as a great starting resource, go to Major League Baseball's PitchSmart website. It's got awesome literature, awesome research, some guidelines of its own, and it'll just help you get a handle on what's going on. But here's the thing, you're going to read some formulas and some criteria that they have, but I want to share with you what Dr. Tim Kremchek said in 2017 and what Coach Sheehan is saying today. Dr. Tim, in an article, and he shared this with me too. It's like, look, with kids, the formula should be age times 6 equals max pitches per game. That's just his guideline from all of his years of surgeries and arm care and debate on this topic. Today, because of, again, the trend line going this way for arm injuries, Coach Mark says, you know what, JR, honestly, I believe we got to be more conservative than that. I feel like it's age times 5 because something ain't working still around here. And yes, kids need to be playing more sports instead of specializing in one sport. Yes, kids need to stop, being hunched over on their phones and on social media all day. Yes, all of that. But let's just square it down to baseball right now. Our kids are throwing too much. So I got to go more conservative. And he adds on top of that in terms of rest, because you're going to see some rest protocol on the PitchSmart website. He says, look, for every pitch thrown, that athlete needs to rest an hour. So for instance, if he pitches 60 pitches in a game, he has to rest 60 hours. All right, so how does this whole formula work? All right, and here's the thing. I want, and this is what a lot of people did not pick up on in the Facebook group. Let's say we have 2 players. We have player A and player B. They're both 12 years old. And let's just use Coach Sheehan's formula. The age times 5 equals match pitches per game. Both player A and player B should pitch no more, according to the guidelines, than 60 pitches in a game. But here's the deal. Here's what I really, really, really want you to get. Player A is pitching in 68 degrees, sunny, beautiful weather. Very, very good mechanics for a 12-year-old. And his balance functional strength is way above average. Then you have player B, who's pitching on a 95-degree day, who mechanically is kind of herky-jerky, falls off a little bit. And his functional strength, he's kind of got a little pause. He's not, compared to that player A, he's not the same. He's more of an average balance functional strength. Both player A and player B, guess what? You could pitch up to 60 pitches. Again, according to Mark's formula, they both could pitch up to 60. But here's my point. There is no way I'm going to push player B to the max, whatever guidelines I'm using. I'm not pushing him to the max because I know how he's set up and the weather, and considering he may tire out faster because of it, I know that there's going to be more pressure on his arm versus player A, who's, coasting, looks good, can't tell he's tired at all, good mechanics, good functional strength. Now, I may push him towards that max, but there's no shot player B is touching that max. That's my point. We can't look at just pitch count in a vacuum. And I'm going to tell you right now, the more we keep pushing the player Bs and the more underperformance that's happening because of all those variables coming into play, the more stuff's going to go on up here. The more he may or she may get burned out. The more he may just say, gosh, I'm tired. This is too much, and want to quit. That's what we don't need. We want our kids having fun. We want them playing the best game on earth. That's why I'm begging you, parents, please consider all the variables. Now, I promised you that I would also address some of the objections I hear from parents. I heard in the Facebook group, and I have them right here. And again, I want to remind you, if you want to do this type of interactive stuff, but live with other parents, come join us in the meetups. It's go.baseballparentmeetup.com. It's completely free. I'm going to have experts like Coach Mark and Dr. Tim, those type of experts, scouts, financial advisors, agents, leadership experts. I'm bringing my whole network, my 20 plus years into this mix because they have a heart for helping just like me. So, all right, this video is getting way too long, but I want to share with you these objections. JR, I got a stubborn athlete. He ain't never want to get pulled. And I'm going, hey, well, I was one of those too. Parents, here's how we address that. We have to inform and educate our athletes on what's healthy and what's not. It's not the coach's job. It's not some other person's job to educate your athlete. It's your job. As long as that athlete's living in your house, it's your job. We got to take ownership as parents to inform our kids on what's healthy for them. Hey, stubborn athlete wants to be a big leaguer someday? Well, let stubborn athlete know this is how big leaguers take care of their arms. So my argument to that is I get it. I've been there. But if I knew just what it would take for me to get to the big leagues and what I would have to do and not have to do in order to get there, you better believe you're going to have my ear. And here's the thing. If you have an athlete who does not want to listen to you, who just says, oh, yeah, mom, yeah, dad, okay, whatever, you don't know anything, pull in an expert. Call a Mark Sheehan. Call a Dr. Tim. Call someone who knows what the heck they're doing to put the living truth into your son or daughter so it gets through their thick skull. That's the only way you're going to get through it. That's the only way you're going to get through it. All right. So here's my favorite one. JR, it can't hurt. I heard a lot of this in the Facebook group. JR, it was just one game. It's not going to hurt. And I laugh because I'm going, have you ever tried a diet before? When you're like, and trust me, I'm guilty of this. When you're like, hey, oh, I could cheat today. It's just one day. It's just one meal. And then it turns into another meal. and it turns into another meal. Same thing here. One game turns into 2 games. 2 games turns into 3 games. Yeah, and you know what? By the way, on it can't hurt, my pushback on that is, how do you know it can't hurt? How do you know? Because what I'm hearing from the experts is, you know what? You may not see the signs at 13 or 14, but it's when they're 18 and 19, when that dream of playing college baseball, that dream of playing Major League Baseball is becoming more of a reality, their windows closing up, that's when these things manifest themselves. So my argument is, how do you know it can't hurt? I'd rather be more conservative and protect than take a risk and find out 4 years later that something is wrong because we pushed and pushed and pushed our kid or our athlete too much. Here's another common one. JR, we don't want to let our team down. My son or daughter is one of the best pitchers on our team. We can't just limit them. It's going to put our team, we're not going to win. And here's the thing. I tell parents, look, you want to win? I get it. But at whose expense? Your sons? Your daughters? You're willing to win a game that, let's be honest with each other, most of America will not even remember that game 10 to 15 years from now, but you're willing to risk your son or daughter's health for one win. If I put it like that, typically parents are going, oh, never thought of it that way. That's my point. Yes, I know we all want to win. I am paid good money to help my athletes win, to help their families win. I want your son or daughter to win, but I'm not willing to risk their arm, their body, their mental health for one game. And that's what I urge you to do. The same. Have that same perspective. All right, here's another one. JR, we don't want to be that helicopter parent. We're always getting involved, telling coach he needs to shut down, whatever. The coach is never going to play him. Well, here's the thing. This is where talking to coach and having that type of communication early, before the season starts, getting on the same page, that's how you prevent this problem, the whole helicopter parent problem. And look, I know this is hard with high school coaches today, but here's my point. If that coach does not understand the protocols and how to protect arms and is not willing to budge or listen, pull in other parents who are well equipped with information like you. And if that coach is just not getting through to him, bring in an expert to talk to coach. Pay the expert if you have to talk to that coach. And if it's still not getting through, take it to someone, his superior, to talk through this. Because y'all, look, something's wrong right now. Something's wrong, and a lot of coaches are misinformed too. So this is your opportunity to be a leader on your son's team. Teach your son or daughter how to communicate well before things escalate and get the job done and bring in other people. And here's the other thing on this same topic. Well, JR, it's not up to us. It's on the coach. I just said, so many coaches are in it to win it. I got news for you. They could care less how many pitches or they just don't care. And not all of them, obviously. Not all of them. I've had some great coaches. I love coaching. Listen, it's the most undervalued profession out there. I'm not just throwing coaches under the bus, but I have seen a lot of misinformed coaches out there. So I'm again urging you, take control of this situation. Put it on you to get your family and your athlete the information they deserve. All right, JR, my kid's a teen. There's no way he's going to stand up or she's going to stand up to coach. The best thing you can do for your athlete in that situation, role play. Because here's the thing. You want your athlete to gain more respect from his coach and teammates. You want your athlete to have more confidence in having conversations and standing up for themselves in situations with adults. They need to talk first. They need to interact with their coaches first. the first interaction shouldn't be from you parents. So let's teach our kids. I do this all the time with my kids, with my clients. We role play all the time because what happens is we get to practice. And all our kids need, all our athletes need is more practice when it comes to communicating and confronting in a very cordial way adults. So role play it with them. Don't make it easy on them. Make it harder, so they're 10 times more prepared to go and have that conversation with coach and stick up for what is right in terms of his athletic ability and stamina. And then lastly, this objection. Well, JR, if my athlete keeps standing up to coach is just going to bench him or bench her. And the funny thing is, when I say, all right, well, look, if your son or daughter is good enough and is mechanically sound and taking care of his or her arm and is just ready to just deliver for the team, that coach ain't mentioned your kid. And I got news for you. I'd rather have a team of healthy arms and healthy bodies that could go on a whim than a bunch of underperforming arms. That's when your son or daughter is going to get benched. When they stick in the game, they push it too far, their arms dragging, there's a strain somewhere. What it's either going to turn into underperformance or an injury. And then they're really going to be benched. So my argument is, hey, look, keep teaching, role-playing with your son or daughter to have those conversations. Keep pursuing the information, the experts that are going to help your daughter or son be the best possible athlete they can be, and give coach no choice but to play your son or daughter. So, look, this video went way too long, but as you can see, there's a ton of information out there. I just tapped the surface of this. But again, join us in the meetups. This is where I'm going to get a chance to bring in the experts who can really dig deeper on this and even get you more answers to your questions, not just on this type of related, specific skill and sport specific stuff, but all your questions about just dealing with teen athletes these days, everything in between. So come join us in the meetup. Again, it's go.baseballparentmeetup.com. Feel free to reach out to us. But look, thanks for coming. Thanks for watching this. Thanks for sticking it out with me. I hope this served you. And don't forget, you're just one win away. So keep pursuing that life of champions.